All right, hey everybody. Just finished marking the Black Mirror assignments. So, first of all, great work as a whole. Marks were really good. Almost everyone put in a really solid effort and got a really solid mark. So, thank you for that. Overall, great submissions. I'll start there, okay? For me, Black Mirror is just a really interesting assignment. It tells me a little bit about you and a little bit about society, and hopefully gets you thinking a little too. If you've never watched the Black Mirror episodes, Nosedive, I pick it for a reason. There's a couple other really good ones. Actually, there's a lot of really good ones, but I picked this one for a very specific reason for myself. Obviously, I just want to show you also a little bit more of my background in my office. Like I said, I live and love this stuff. So, but it's actually, for me, this episode is a really important one for a few things. One, I'm asking you your opinion, and it amazes me how many of you try to play it a little bit on the fence without giving a yes or no answer. When I say, in your opinion, I want it. Even if I disagree, there's people I disagree with, and I give them perfect mark. This isn't about judgment. This isn't about anything like that. But it is about the fact that I wanted to see if you're willing to put yourself out there a little bit to take a stance. All right. Because we have built society a little bit in general right now, especially over the last few decades, where people are a little bit afraid to give their opinion. And, you know, I'm a believer that we're in a democratic society, that is a key fundamental right to freedom. How you express it and expressing it appropriately is key, but you should be entitled to give your opinion. So for everyone that said, in my opinion, boom, great. And it's not that a lot of you didn't imply your opinion, pretty much everyone did. But in an assignment, whenever you're asked your opinion, open with it. Be like, in my opinion, the answer is this, then why? Okay, that's good, solid, what we call active writing approach, which you should use in everything from personal communication to business writing. So what I'm giving you is general, solid advice here overall in your school career, but long past and into business. Sometimes people try to play it too much on the fence because they're trying to either appeal to everybody. That usually backfires on both sides. And so for anyone that was a bit afraid to give their opinion or trying to play it a little more like, well, there's good and bad, great. But first say which side you side with. I would say it is good for society or it's bad. Continuing down this path is either good or bad overall, and this is why. But on the counter side, you know, there are some positives. Great, but give your opinion, okay? Don't ever be afraid to. I will never disagree with anyone that gives their opinion. That's not what it comes down to. I mean, in my opinion, for Nosedive, it is a dangerous path to continue, no question. And I will defend that position because, for example, I watch my kids and how greatly and how easily they're influenced by influencers, like social media influencers. But the problem is they have no fact checking. What they say doesn't have to be true. And they're not doing it inherently to share knowledge a lot of the time. They're inherently doing it to get more followers, to build more money and success. So the problem is sometimes lying can do that easier. So my challenge there is that creates a danger for me, because if society can't tell how to know the difference between fact and fiction or truth and lie, that's a dangerous process, because if we don't create the ability to understand the difference or be able to fact check it, then, you know, for me, that's dangerous. All right. And that's where Nosedive for me plays such a factor, is that I grew up, first of all, before social media. I got to watch it from its infancy. I got to see a lot of good and bad. And I like everyone that shared their good and bads to communication. I think that's great. I think that's also valid. I think there are many good communication aspects to it. And I do think there's some negative, and I think it plays a big factor into things like mental health, cyberbullying, stuff like that. So it's really a big question in the end. But please always remember, regardless of which side you're on, always give your opinion, okay? I think it's important. I think you have the right to. I think you should feel comfortable to. And I really hope, if nothing else, the assignment gave you a little bit of insight into, maybe thinking a little differently, because everyone interprets it a little bit differently. For me, we already are judged much on a piece of paper. For me, social media piece of paper doesn't really matter. So for example, your credit score. In Canada, your credit score dictates your ability sometimes to get a job, definitely to get a loan, definitely the ability to buy a house. It affects your ability to rent a place these days. And yet all that score is a collection of information about what the bank would view, or what the financial institutions would view as good and bad decisions. So they're judging you solely on that, and that'll affect your ability to do things for many, many years. So in a way, we do already have these rating systems, but it's just not to the extreme of Nosedive. There's certain places in the world, such as China, that had tried, based on a 5-star type ranking system, affecting your the cost of insurance and stuff like that. So there have been tests out there that have occurred along these lines. So don't think it's totally out there, it would never happen. In perspective, if I 25 years ago told people that we would have people walk into the street because they were watching something on their phone from someone they didn't know, that would have been a crazy thought. So my point is, don't assume it's impossible in the future just because we haven't seen it happen yet. So anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone's input on it. I really, really did enjoy your reads. I love the opinions, and some people have very strong opinions and some tried to play a little more middle ground. But just always make sure that is truly your opinion. That's all. Anyway, thank you very much. Really appreciate everyone. Have a great week.